How to Heal from Toxic Relationships and Ignite Your Passion, an audiobook by Rooted in Self-Love. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I am building a community of women that are stepping into their power and living to their full potential. There is a lot to look forward to in this journey. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any videos or updates on resources and activities in the community. Chapter 1. Recognizing the Signs of a Toxic Relationship. Toxic relationships rarely announce themselves with a neon sign. Instead, they creep in quietly, disguising control, manipulation, or neglect as love, care, or concern. Learning to recognize these patterns is the first step toward reclaiming your emotional freedom. Understanding the subtle and not so subtle signs empowers you to act before harm becomes normalized. At the heart of every toxic relationship is a repeated pattern that erodes your sense of self. You might notice emotional manipulation, guilt tripping, blame shifting, or threats disguised as concern. Perhaps your opinions are dismissed or minimized, leaving you questioning your own reality. Control often hides under the guise of protection, advice, or guidance, but if it limits your autonomy, it crosses the line. Neglect is another hallmark. Your needs, feelings, or milestones are consistently ignored or undervalued. It's not only about grand gestures. Even repeated small dismissals chip away at your self-worth. Emotional abuse can be harder to pinpoint. Sarcasm, criticism, silent treatment, or passive-aggressive behavior may leave invisible scars that accumulate over time. Subtle disrespect, too, is a warning, mocking your choices, ignoring boundaries, or belittling your passions. Recognizing a toxic relationship doesn't require a dramatic event or a single moment of, Instead, notice patterns, the recurring arguments that leave you drained, the lingering anxiety before calls or meetings, the quiet voice inside you asking, "Am I being respected?" Real-life examples illuminate these markers. The partner who constantly belittles your achievements, the friend who disappears when you need support, the family member who guilt trips you for pursuing your dreams. Psychology offers a framework. 2. Experts identify behaviors such as manipulation, excessive control, and emotional invalidation as core traits of toxic dynamics. By aligning your personal experiences with these markers, you gain clarity and validation. You are not overreacting, and your feelings matter. Recognizing toxicity is the first act of self-love. It's not about blaming yourself or the other person. It's about seeing clearly, setting boundaries, and choosing a life that nurtures your growth. This chapter is your compass, one that points toward awareness, empowerment, and the courage to reclaim your energy and passion. Chapter 2. The Hidden Cost of Staying Too Long. Toxic relationships are more than just emotionally exhausting. They are silently draining your life, often in ways you might not immediately recognize. The longer you stay, the more subtle and pervasive the costs become, touching every aspect of your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Understanding these consequences is a crucial step toward reclaiming your freedom. Mentally, chronic exposure to toxicity can manifest as anxiety, depression, or persistent self-doubt. You may notice an inner critic growing louder, questioning your worth, your decisions, and even your ability to trust yourself. Emotional exhaustion becomes the norm rather than the exception, leaving you feeling numb, detached, or constantly on edge. Self-esteem takes a particularly heavy hit. Over time, repeated criticism, manipulation, or neglect can make you internalize messages that you are not enough. You may hesitate to pursue opportunities, voice your needs, or assert boundaries, believing incorrectly that your happiness is secondary. Even your career can suffer. Lack of focus, burnout, or hesitation to step into leadership can stem from the constant emotional weight you carry at home or in a relationship. Friendships often suffer quietly. Toxic relationships can isolate you, either by direct manipulation or because the constant emotional drain leaves little energy for connections outside the toxic dynamic. Physical well-being is not spared either. Stress manifests in sleepless nights, headaches, weakened immunity, and other stress-related ailments, reminding you that toxicity does not only reside in the mind, it resides in the body too. Recognizing these consequences allows you to connect the dots between your current struggles and the damaging patterns you've endured. This awareness is not about blaming yourself. It's about seeing clearly, honoring your pain, and understanding the full scope of what staying too long costs you. By acknowledging these hidden tolls, you begin to reclaim not just your energy, but your life. Every drained moment, every suppressed emotion, every second spent shrinking yourself to survive in the relationship is a signal. It's time to prioritize your well-being, to reclaim your passions, and to choose a path that nurtures your mind, body, and spirit. Healing begins when you recognize that the cost of staying is far greater than the fear of leaving. Chapter 3: Breaking the Cycle of Emotional Dependence. Staying in a toxic relationship often feels like an invisible tether pulling you back, even when your mind screams to leave. Emotional dependence is rarely about weakness. It's about survival, hope, and deeply ingrained patterns that keep us bound to people who no longer serve our growth. Understanding why these bonds hold so tightly is the first step toward freeing yourself. Fear is a powerful motivator. Fear of being alone, fear of judgment, or fear of losing a life that, despite its toxicity, still holds familiar comfort. Guilt often coexists, whispering that leaving is selfish, that you are abandoning someone who needs you. Hope plays its part too. You may convince yourself that change is just around the corner, clinging to promises or fleeting moments of tenderness as evidence that the relationship can improve. Codependency, a common pattern, keeps the cycle alive. It thrives on caretaking, self-sacrifice, and validation through the approval of others. In codependent dynamics, your identity becomes intertwined with the other person's emotions and actions, making separation feel impossible. Yet, staying in this loop erodes your autonomy, leaving your passions, desires, and well-being suspended in someone else's control. Breaking free requires deliberate strategies. Start by identifying patterns of dependence. Recognize when your choices are driven by fear, guilt, or the hope for change rather than your true desires. Build inner strength through daily practices that reinforce self-worth. Affirmations, journaling, and setting small boundaries that honor your needs. Emotional detachment does not mean shutting down. It means observing the relationship objectively, noticing how it affects you, and choosing actions that protect your energy. Seek support outside the relationship. Trusted friends, mentors, or professional guidance provide clarity, validation, and accountability as you navigate separation. Remind yourself, detaching emotionally is not betrayal. It is self-preservation, courage, and the reclaiming of your life. Breaking the cycle is neither linear nor painless, but it is profoundly transformative. Every step away from dependence is a step toward freedom, self-respect, and the life you deserve. The moment you release the emotional chains, you open space for growth, passion, and a deeper connection to yourself. Chapter 4: Setting Boundaries and Saying No Without Guilt. Boundaries are not walls. They are lines of self-respect, clarity, and personal integrity. In toxic relationships, these lines are often blurred or completely ignored, leaving you drained anxious, or even resentful. Learning to set and maintain boundaries is not just a skill, it is an essential act of self-love. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to prioritizing others' needs above your own. The guilt that surfaces is often internalized from years of putting others first or from toxic conditioning that frames self-care as selfishness. Yet, every no spoken with clarity and kindness is an affirmation. Your needs matter, your time matters, and your well-being is non-negotiable. Practical boundary setting begins with self-awareness. Identify what feels violating or draining in your relationships. Is it constant criticism, intrusive questions, or demands on your time? Once you recognize these triggers, articulate your limits clearly and calmly. Use statements like, I am not comfortable with, or I need space to. These are not excuses, they are honest declarations of your needs. Consistency is crucial. Boundaries only work when they are reinforced, even when met with resistance. Expect pushback. It is a natural reaction from those accustomed to overstepping, but do not compromise your standards. Emotional manipulation may intensify, but staying firm communicates that your boundaries are non-negotiable. Remember that boundaries also extend to yourself. Saying no to others often means saying yes to your own growth, passions, and healing. It is a practice of self-respect that reshapes how you allow others to treat you and recalibrates your sense of worth. Over time, consistent boundaries transform your relationships. People either rise to meet your standards or step away, revealing who genuinely honors your value. Each act of saying no without guilt strengthens your inner confidence, reclaims your energy, and creates the space for healthy connections to flourish. Boundaries are not barriers. They are invitations for respect, authenticity, and a life lived on your terms. Chapter 5. Reclaiming your identity and self-worth. Leaving a toxic relationship often leaves a strange emptiness. You may feel untethered, unsure who you are outside the dynamics that once defined your days. This is normal. Toxic bonds blur the lines between your authentic self and the person you had to become to survive. Reclaiming your identity is not just about rediscovering old passions. It's about rebuilding your sense of self-worth from the ground up. Self-reflection is the first step. Take time to explore your values, dreams, and boundaries without the influence of another's control. Journaling is a powerful tool here. Ask yourself, what brings me joy? When do I feel most alive? What am I proud of? Writing your thoughts uncovers patterns, highlights your strengths, and reconnects you to the parts of yourself that may have been silenced. Engaging in activities that nurture your individuality is equally essential. Pursue hobbies you may have abandoned, experiment with new skills, or simply carve out time to enjoy your own company. These small acts of self-expression rebuild confidence and remind you that your happiness is not contingent on someone else's approval. Reestablishing self-trust is crucial. In toxic relationships, doubt often overshadows intuition. Begin noticing moments when your instincts guide you correctly and honor those feelings. Celebrate small victories, setting boundaries, making decisions independently, or voicing your opinion without fear. Each act reinforces the knowledge that you are capable, resilient, and deserving of respect. Surround yourself with supportive people who reflect your renewed energy and respect your growth. Healthy relationships, whether friendships, family, or mentors, serve as mirrors, helping you see your worth and reinforcing the identity you are reclaiming. Remember, reclaiming your identity is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, self-compassion, and persistence. With each step, you reconnect with the authentic you, confident, grounded, and free to pursue passions without compromise. By rebuilding your self-worth, you create the foundation for a life aligned with your values, desires, and potential, a life that celebrates the unique, irreplaceable person you truly are. Chapter 6: The Healing Power of Forgiveness Without Reconciliation. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many equate it with reconciliation, imagining that letting go of anger means reopening the door to someone who caused harm. In reality, forgiveness is an inward journey, a gift you give yourself to release the heavy weight of resentment, guilt, and self-blame. It is not permission to return to toxicity. It is freedom from it. Holding on to anger may feel justified, even protective. After all, your pain is real and your wounds run deep. Yet, prolonged resentment often binds you to the very person or experience that hurt you. It keeps your mind replaying the past, drains your energy, and prevents growth. Forgiveness allows you to break this invisible chain without erasing the memory or excusing the behavior. Begin by acknowledging your pain. Name the emotions that surface when you think about the relationship: anger, hurt, betrayal, sadness. Validate these feelings. They are natural responses to mistreatment. Journaling or speaking aloud can help you confront the emotions without judgment. Next, reframe forgiveness as a conscious choice to reclaim your power. Remind yourself, I forgive not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Visualizing the release of resentment, imagining it leaving your body with each breath, can be a powerful tool. Meditation, prayer, or reflective exercises reinforce this process, helping you separate emotional liberation from the idea of reconciliation. Forgiveness also involves releasing self-blame. Toxic relationships often distort your perception, leaving you feeling responsible for another person's actions. Recognize that your worth is intact, your choices are valid, and the responsibility for harm lies with the one who inflicted it. Over time, forgiveness softens the grip of the past. You carry the lessons, but not the chains. By releasing anger and resentment, you create space for joy, self-love, and authentic connection. Healing becomes less about what the other person did and more about how you honor yourself. True freedom comes when you understand that forgiveness is not about them. It is about your liberation, your peace, and your right to move forward unchained. Chapter 7: Reconnecting with your body, mind, and spirit. Healing after a toxic relationship is not just emotional. It is holistic. The body, mind, and spirit all carry the weight of past harm, and nurturing each aspect is essential to reclaiming balance and inner peace. Reconnecting with yourself begins with the recognition that you are your own safe space, capable of providing comfort, care, and validation. Mindfulness is a cornerstone of this process. By tuning into the present moment, you interrupt patterns of rumination and self-doubt. Simple practices, like observing your breath, noticing sensations in your body, or grounding yourself in your surroundings, help you reconnect with reality rather than lingering in the echoes of past trauma. Meditation deepens this connection, providing clarity, calm, and a sense of control over your inner world. Movement is equally transformative. Physical activity, whether gentle yoga, dancing, walking, or strength training, releases stored tension, reduces stress hormones, and reconnects you to your body's vitality. Your body becomes an ally rather than a vessel that bears pain silently. Treat it with respect, honoring what it needs rather than punishing it for past neglect or current struggles. Nutrition and mindful eating further reinforce this connection. Choosing foods that nourish and energize your body is a daily act of self-respect. It reminds you that you are worthy of care and that your physical health supports your emotional and spiritual growth. Creative outlets provide another essential pathway to healing. Painting, writing, music, or any form of expressive activity allows suppressed emotions to surface safely, transforming pain into insight and self-expression. Through creativity, you rediscover joy, curiosity, and the essence of who you are. Above all, treat yourself as a sanctuary. Your body, mind, and spirit deserve gentleness, patience, and consistency. Each act of care is a declaration. I am worthy. I am safe. I honor myself. By integrating mindfulness, movement, nutrition, and creative expression into your life, you begin to restore harmony. You move from surviving to thriving, recognizing that true healing is not only about overcoming the past, but cultivating a present in which your body, mind, and spirit flourish together. Chapter 8. Igniting passion through creativity and purpose. Toxic relationships have a way of dimming our inner fire. Dreams are postponed, hobbies abandoned, and the very things that once sparked joy are pushed aside, overshadowed by the constant demands, manipulation, or emotional drain. Reigniting passion after leaving toxicity is not just about doing, it is about remembering who you truly are and what makes your spirit come alive. Passion often lies dormant, waiting for the moment you reclaim your autonomy. Start by reflecting on what brought you joy before toxicity took hold. Perhaps it was painting, writing, dancing, traveling, or even quiet moments of reading or exploring nature. These seemingly small acts are not indulgences. They are signals of self-reconnection and vitality. New projects offer another pathway. The energy you invest in creating or pursuing something meaningful replenishes your soul. It can be a professional goal, a personal challenge, or a hobby you've always wanted to explore. The act of starting, experimenting, and learning reawakens motivation and reminds you that your potential is vast and unbounded. Creativity is particularly powerful because it transforms emotion into expression. Painting a canvas, writing a poem, composing music, or even cooking a new recipe channels your energy into something tangible and fulfilling. It allows you to process emotions safely while celebrating your unique voice and vision. Purpose deepens this journey. Ask yourself, what work, activity, or connection makes me feel alive? What legacy do I want to create for myself and others? Passion intertwined with purpose generates momentum, helping you move from mere survival to thriving with intention and joy. Remember, rediscovering passion is a process, not a single revelation. Be gentle with yourself and allow curiosity to guide your exploration. Every step toward creative expression, every effort to pursue a dream strengthens your confidence, your sense of self, and your joy. Toxic relationships may have muted your fire, but they cannot extinguish it. By embracing creativity, purpose, and curiosity, you reignite the spark within you, one that burns brighter than any past pain and propels you toward a life of joy, meaning, and authentic expression. Chapter 9. Building healthy, soul-nourishing connections. After emerging from a toxic relationship, one of the most transformative steps is learning to cultivate connections that uplift rather than drain. Healthy relationships, whether friendships, family bonds, or romantic partnerships, thrive on respect, reciprocity, and shared growth. They nourish the soul and reinforce the sense of worth you have been rebuilding. Start by recognizing the qualities of safe relationships. Mutual respect is non-negotiable. Your feelings, boundaries, and opinions are honored without judgment or manipulation. Communication is open and empathetic, allowing both parties to express needs and concerns without fear. Reciprocity ensures that energy flows both ways. Support, care, and effort are shared, not one-sided. Friendships are a powerful foundation. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your victories, provide encouragement during setbacks, and respect your space. These relationships remind you that love and connection do not require compromise of your values or self-worth. Community, too, offers belonging and purpose, whether through shared interests, volunteer work, or creative collaborations. Romantic partnerships require the same discernment. Look for compatibility in values, emotional maturity, and commitment to growth. Healthy romantic bonds are not about filling a void. They are about complementing each other's lives while maintaining individuality. Red flags are easier to spot when you have rebuilt self-esteem and clarity about your needs. Boundaries remain essential. Even in nurturing relationships, clarity about your limits ensures that connections remain empowering rather than exhausting. Consistently practicing self-awareness allows you to engage fully, trusting your intuition while remaining open to deep connection. Soul-nourishing connections are a mirror for your growth. They celebrate your resilience, encourage your passions, and reflect the love and respect you now give yourself. Building these relationships takes patience, discernment, and courage, but the rewards are immeasurable. A network of people who inspire, support, and stand beside you in authenticity. By choosing connections that align with your values and honor your journey, you create a life rich with love, trust, and mutual growth. A life where relationships serve as anchors of joy rather than chains of pain. Chapter 10, Thriving Beyond Survival, Designing a Life You Love. Healing from toxicity is not just about leaving, it's about stepping fully into the life you deserve. Thriving goes beyond survival. It is about cultivating self-love, empowerment, joy, and passion in every area of your existence. This chapter invites you to envision that life and provides guidance for designing a personal roadmap toward your dreams. Begin by reflecting on your values, desires, and aspirations. What does a fulfilling life look like for you? How do you want to feel each day? Confident, free, energized, and at peace. Journaling, vision boards, or meditation can help you articulate these intentions, transforming vague wishes into tangible goals. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Every boundary set, every act of self-care, and every moment of emotional clarity is a victory. Recognize that healing is a process, and each step forward is evidence of your resilience and courage. Gratitude for your growth shifts focus from past pain to present empowerment, reinforcing a mindset of possibility and abundance. Create actionable steps toward the life you envision. This may include pursuing passions, reconnecting with supportive people, building new skills, or cultivating daily rituals that nurture your body, mind, and spirit. Your roadmap should reflect your authentic priorities, ensuring that your choices align with who you truly are rather than who others expect you to be. Embrace the unknown with curiosity rather than fear. Thriving requires courage, the courage to step into new experiences, to trust yourself, and to believe that joy and fulfillment are not only possible but your birthright. Your journey forward is a testament to your strength, a declaration that your life is yours to shape. Ask yourself, if fear were no longer a factor, what life would I create today? Share your thoughts in the comments and inspire others to reflect and grow alongside you. Support the community by liking, sharing, and subscribing, ensuring that more people can discover the tools to heal, thrive, and reclaim their lives. The future is not something that simply happens. It is something you design. By embracing your power, celebrating your progress, and acting with intention, you step beyond survival into a life vibrant with possibility, purpose, and passion. Until next time, stay rooted in self-love.